Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 3 in a series between Liquid Sheth versus SlayerS Ryung here on Shattered Temple. Sheth spawning as the red Zerg player at the 9 o'clock position, meanwhile Ryung spawning as the blue Terran. At the 3 o'clock location. So this is going to be Terran versus Zerg once again, and we'll see what exactly Sheth can do to try to come back in this series, or whether or not I casted these games out of order. So yeah, and we're going to see Sheth perhaps try to open up with a different build this time around, as Metalopolis, which is normally a Zerg favored map in that it's easy for a Zerg player to take up a third base. It didn't really work out well for him. Ryung was able to set up his third command center inside his base when his natural expansion was set up as well. Continue to train up more SCVs and then move to that all-important far expansion on the top left-hand side, and then was able to stay even for quite some time. Now, we're going to see Sheth perhaps open up either with an spawning pool build or a hatchery build. Both styles really depend on what your opponent tries to do, and we'll see whether or not Ryung will be going for an early refinery. Now, Shattered Temple is a little bit more open and is a little bit easier to rush towards your opponent. We do have the barracks being built over here by the front door though, so I do expect a gas at some point to be placed down by Ryung. Actually, no, he is actually training up a lot of SCVs and queuing them in here, so he may be trying to go for a very, very fast expansion. Hatchery has been placed down by Sheth over here at the 9 o'clock location. A drone is making its way across. We'll be activating that Zelnaga tower on the way over. And it doesn't look like anything is really coming in from Ryung at all. He could perhaps try to build up a supply depot to finish off this wall in. There is going to be a marine train. That drone will be able to sneak inside though. And the drone is going to pretty much see everything it needs to see. He's going to see that there is no gas. He's going to see that his opponent is just mining away, and he won't be able to spot an additional barrack, so that was going to be key in trying to find out what exactly the strategy is in the long run. A command center may be built down over here. It looks like Sheth will be able to scout. No, he does not scout out this command center on the bottom right-hand side, as the drone still looking to see if any gas has been built. So this is going to be a bit of an issue, as you do see an extractor now being built by Sheth. More of a gas block than anything else, but it's really not going to hurt Ryung. When you see that your opponent has not gone for a refinery yet, there really is no reason to try to deny his gas, as he may not really need it. You can see that a second marine is now being trained back over here. It was canceled and then once again rebuilt, so it may delay a factory just a little bit, as he's going to be mining off of one gas for a little bit of time, as this command center about halfway being completed. SCV, for some reason, trying to take down an extractor. The extractor, however, does have a base 1 armor and also naturally regenerates hit points. That SCV will get taken down by the queen as soon as the queen pops out, or perhaps by some Zerglings, as those Zerglings are going to be able to chase apart and destroy that SCV rather quickly. Extractor still being built and destroyed continually. The extractor, however, doesn't see that the refinery is being built on the far side, doesn't see any SCVs down over here either, as it is once again being rebuilt and re-cancelled. You can now see, wow, Ryung going into a third command center. This is a really unorthodox play, especially as he only has one production building right now, and he may be able to lift it off and land his command center either here, or perhaps try to destroy these destructible rocks and land it here. There is an overlord hiding here, which will be able to see any flying command centers pretty easily, as Ryung going to be now double training up SCVs, and he's going to be able to saturate this mineral patch and this mineral patch very, very quickly. A Zergling may try to get underneath here in just a moment. It looks like the Zergling is going to try to intercept this one particular SCV. The SCV will be building a bunker on the front door. I'm surprised that the bunker isn't a little bit more in a forward position, as Zerglings may be able to still run up that ramp rather easily. An overlord has come in, has gained sight that the second refinery was finally put into play, as the third command center about to be completed and perhaps will be upgraded to an orbital command as well. A lot of roaches now pushing in on this front door, and this 2-base roach push may be a little bit more than a Ryung can really be able to handle right now. These roaches look to deal a lot of damage. There are 8 roaches now marching their way across the field, and now that SCV going to get absolutely sniped. Hellions now being trained, but they are not going to really be able to do much, as yes, it looks like the Hellion was canceled in order to get some siege tanks, and that is exactly what you need to do in order to try to fight off this attack. The roaches need to be very careful. Now trying to push in, going after the SCVs, very smart, and now finally going after the bunker. The bunker is constantly losing more SCVs though, so this is going to really hurt. Zerglings are now coming in as well. This one bunker constantly being repaired. A lot of workers have been killed already, and it looks like this bunker will fall. A siege tank about to be completed, as those Zerglings are going to be able to run rampant and now destroy many of these SCVs, as well the roaches. If they try to push up though, will have to defend and deal with one siege tank, and that siege tank will be able to hold it off. The siege tanks do not yet have siege tech. SCVs are coming over to repair as well. The orbital command now lifting off and going to be doing a gutsy move and landing here instead. That is the perfect counter by Ryung. What Ryung can do is then train up SCVs off of this orbital command, have them mine here, but more importantly, use the mules to mine off of these mineral patches, as the mules the mules over here are going to be pretty much well protected, as the roaches and the Zerglings are going to have a little bit of difficulty trying to take down these destructible rocks. Zerglings over here, did they catch that other orbital command flying over? I believe, yes, he did see this orbital command here, so he knows that there is 3 bases already up and running. The roaches are now putting pressure on these rocks. Is there enough roaches to actually take this down in a timely manner? I do not believe so. He really needs to get more roaches out, as siege tanks are now being littered across the field and will be able to protect against this front door here. The Hellions are now moving out. There is only 1 queen, and these Hellions may be able to deal a large amount of damage, as the roaches are now going to be engaging against Hellions. The roaches are backing off just ever so slightly. These destructible rocks about halfway, or no, what am I talking about? Down to 300 hit points, as the SCVs realizing what is going to be happening. These rocks have not been cleared at all, and these Hellions in the center may be able to catch these Zerglings. The Zerglings now have a very, very short time to deal a lot of damage, going after SCVs, going after mules. 1 mule down, another mule may get taken down, as the Blue Flame Hellions finish off those Zerglings, and the harassment has come to an end. So a little nice play by Sheth. Sheth able to push back his opponent. His opponent now sitting on 40 harvesters compared to 54. Running off of 3 bases though, and that additional mule will definitely help, as a macro hatch coming into play by Sheth. We are at tier 2. This third hatchery already up. The 4th hatchery, the macro hatch, about to be completed. Excuse me, as I just drank a root beer. As roaches are now in the center portion. The Hellions looking to perhaps do another run by. The Zerglings going to get easily toasted once more, as the Hellions now running straight in. Drones are now being transferred over. The drones have a very difficult time, as the Zerglings need to try to get us around here. All those drones lined up, and Sheth all of a sudden losing a whole bunch of workers in a very short fashion, and down goes all of those Hellions. So those Hellions getting a lot of drone kills, and now 55 drones compared to 47, but we have 13 drones coming in from Sheth. So Sheth really having a license to drone, really power droning in this game so far, and should be able to macro up pretty easily, as we are now going into an evolution chamber. Getting in some Mutalisks to take to the skies. We are a little bit supply blocked, 102 over 104. Sheth having the advantage right now, as the roaches are now pushing in. There is a bunker being placed down. It looks like these rocks have been destroyed. The roaches and Zerglings are now going to be running rampant here and taking down some of those SCVs. Marines are now trying to push their way over as well. Siege tanks do not have, they do have siege tech, not in siege mode. The bunker looks like it is not going to get destroyed. The roaches could turn around and fire back at it, but decide not to, as the siege tanks now in a defensive posture. Roaches will have a very difficult time pushing in here. We are going into double gas as well. This one set of destructible rocks not yet destroyed. Sheth having a slight advantage, and we'll see if he'll be able to press that into anything else right now, or whether Ryung will be able to fight his way back into this game. You can see that Ryung playing a little bit more defensively, macroing up, getting as large of an army as possible, while being proactively defensive. Supply depots on the front door. We may have a wall of supply depots here as Zergling, though Mutalisk now trying to fly in. And oh, this is going to be really bad for Ryung. Marines are trying to stim in. Are the Marines? Yes, more Marines coming in from the north. It looks like a supply, or one siege tank will get destroyed. Another siege tank may get destroyed. And yes, it does go down as well. So 2 siege tanks quickly just lost there, as now the front door may be pretty wide open. It looks like the Mutalisks do not want to engage, though there are Marines in a bunker. Those Marines in a bunker as effective as one missile turret, as another siege tank may get taken down. Yes, another siege tank does get taken down, and the Mutalisk able to fly away once more. So Sheth doing a lot of harassment damage with a slight 34 food advantage, still trying to press this here, as the siege tanks are now constantly trying to be close to Marines. And we'll see whether Sheth can really do anything about this. He needs to perhaps execute some sort of drop, some sort of Nidus play, and break a line in the natural defense. All of these Marines upgraded 1-0, and with the proper Marine splitting, and those Banelings are not really dealing that much damage at all. Zerglings are now pushing their way in. Zerglings are down off over here. The Mutalisks are still taking to the skies. Army composition's much, much larger for Sheth. 77, 81 versus 62, as the Zerglings are now trying to swarm in. Another siege tank will get taken down. A bunker does get destroyed, as the missile turret getting off a couple of quick shots as well. But this is not very good trading at all in terms of trying to deal damage. You can see that Mutalisks are getting destroyed. Mutalisks are very expensive units, and oh, that medevac, a very, very expensive medevac with all of those Marines, needs to unload itself, and rather quickly. An Overlord over here is still keeping track of all of these enemy movements. We are going into burrow play and also going into infestors. Mutalisk 7 being trained. We are getting another hatchery. Sheth definitely needs to stay up on top of his macro. Taking down these rocks are ready for another hatchery at the top left-hand side, as this base is starting to run low, down to 300 mineral patches, or 300 minerals on some of those mineral patches already. Mutalisk now taking to the skies. Mutalisk 23. Mutalisk upgraded 1-0 at this stage in the game. Zerglings are upgraded 2-1. We are going into some Thors. So the heavy Thor play may be able to fight back and stop all of this Mutalisk harassment. In comes another wave of units. The Zerglings are now not even going to bother taking down that missile turret. Medevacs are going to get destroyed as they arrive to the party too early. Same thing with the siege tank, as the SCVs are now repairing or just holding position around a bunker, causing a lot of destruction here. The Mutalisks are trying to push back in, but they cannot really engage against all of those Marines, as all of the Zerglings once again fall. Armies are starting to even out just a little bit. That is not what you want to see. Production, level 2 flyer attacks. And I think Sheth really needs to go into Broodlords and Queens. This is something that we've been missing from Sheth. Any tier 3 play, Ultralisks are going to become much more powerful in the next patch, as they are going to be able to enter the battlefield in 55 seconds. So entering the battlefield rather quickly, you can replenish an army of Ultralisks in just a matter of seconds there. Zerglings and Mutalisks perhaps, oh no, Banelings are going to perhaps try to do a bit of a suicide, and Banelings can easily take down an orbital command. If he's able to shut down this orbital command here, he will completely deny an expansion, and it doesn't take that many Banelings to do so, but it looks like he wants to go after the SCVs as opposed to just taking down the orbital command. Zerglings are now simply swarming in. The Marines are now coming in from the far side. The Banelings are now running in as well. Banelings splashing their way in, and it looks like the Banelings able to bust and get a lot of splash damage. Down goes the bunker, and a lot of damage is being dealt, but on over here, you can see Ryung now coming in with his own attack force. Siege tanks very far deep. Mutalisk getting just shot down out of the sky, and now Ryung, extending very far into his opponent's base, may be able to deal a fair amount of damage here. Massive number of Marines going to destroy this hatchery, and it looks like this base will fall. Zerglings trying to finish this off. There are a lot of mules down on the bottom right-hand side, so still very strong income coming in from Sheth, even though he did lose a lot. Overlords falling as well, as the Marines and the Thors are finishing this off. It looks like a medevac drop. 6 Marines going to be pushing on the top left-hand position as well, as Sheth is starting to fall apart. just Ryung off of 3 bases, able to defend for just long enough and catching his opponent out of position after Sheth had a couple of bad trades. And now these Marines are just simply destroying hatchery after hatchery. It looks like this one hatchery may get sieged up in just a moment. Not quite sure. Are we... Where? Yes, this one siege tank over here blasting away at this hatchery. It looks like the Zerglings and the Banelings were able to finish off the medevac drop over here, but a Thor will be knocking on the back door, and a Thor is able to take down these rocks so quickly. Zerglings, Banelings, Mutalisks, Infestors, all tier 2 units coming out from Sheth once again. It looks like an Overlord is off over here. A planetary fortress is being built. It looks like the destructible rocks will fall. The Marines, having a little bit of problem here as the Banelings are now trying to roll in once again. The Banelings may be able to catch some of these Marines as Banelings are now melting Marine after Marine. It looks like this one bunker will get destroyed as well. And why not take down some of these SCVs? You can see now a large group of siege tanks. It is becoming a base race as Ryung pushing in and will perhaps be able to shut down another one of Sheth's expansions. This planetary fortress was canceled. Command center is on fire. SCVs need to come over and start to repair it. This is going to be a problem if this one command center does get destroyed. No, SCVs already on the job, going to work overtime and save this command center. Marines still pushing through. Infestors gonna come in. The Infestors do have Neuroparasite. And are we gonna get no Neuroparasite on any of these siege tanks? That's a bit of a mistake there. Taking control of those siege tanks would have been enough, and Sheth with a little bit of miss micro, losing much of his army very needlessly. It is now 2 bases or 0 bases. Only long distance mining coming in. Sheth most likely should lay down a creep tumor here to try to establish that creep and save it. Meanwhile, back over here, another Overlord has been destroyed. There is a Thor and a siege tank down over here. Worker kills aplenty on both sides. 60 drones versus 41 SCVs, but the economic advantage definitely goes to Ryung as he still has a base to work on. Long distance mining here, some minimal mining here, long distance mining off of the gold mineral patches, as Sheth will not be able to replenish his army anytime soon, and he is already behind an army. One drone quickly destroyed. This medevac low on energy, trying to keep all of these Marines alive in a very well defensive posture, as we'll see what Sheth can really do at this stage in the game. Overlords are doing a bit of scouting, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time before Ryung is going to be able to macro up, get into 200. He wants to make sure that he has a strong economy. He has a bunch of mules mining off over here. Yeah, 6 mules mining off over here, getting a lot of minerals, and he's going to just replenish his Marine force. We are going into Seeker Missile and also getting the Corvid reactor in order to get plus 25 starting energy. So perhaps those Seeker missiles will destroy many of these drones, and also perhaps the flock of Mutalisks as well. Back over here, Zerglings perhaps just lying in wait, waiting to see who can macro up a little bit more quickly. There are 2 Banelings hiding over here, as now the Zerglings are going to be backing up. Those Banelings may be able to get off a lot of Marine kills. That's going to be very bad news, and whoa, nicely done. A nice landmine, destroying a decent number of Marines, and a couple more tricks like that, and Sheth will be able to get back into this game completely. Hatchery is now spawning some larvae back over here. Same thing happening as well. Infestors need to be very careful. They have a very difficult time ahead of them. They are behind in terms of their standing armies. More Infestors still being added. And as a Mobius reactor now being trained, it means we will be going into Ghost, and Ghost with Snipe and EMP. An absolute nightmare for Infestors. Vikings also being trained just in case there are going to be any more Broodlords. Marines clearing up a couple Overlords as well, making sure that that creep is going to slowly be pushed away. Another command center being reestablished. Zerglings, Banelings, Mutalisks trying to push into the center. Too many siege tanks, too far, too deep. As this skeleton army off over here, this one medevac slowly regaining energy, going to have a very strong army of Marines and one tank off in this very forward position in just a moment. Sheth really needs to get back into this game somehow. We are also going into durable materials, so every upgrade possible for a Raven, so that the Seeker missiles will be lasting longer. The Ravens will start off with 25 energy, and we will actually have Seeker missiles. How many Ravens are currently in the sky? We do have 4 Ravens right now. 4 Ravens Seeker missiles possible on 2 of them. The other 2 will have it momentarily, as there are 3 bandings, but those bandings are not going to do any serious damage at all, as the Ravens will be able to spot them, and the Marines will be able to destroy them in a timely manner. We can see that there is a scanner sweep there, as now Ryung really starting to figure out what his long-term goal is. Ravens now pushing in. The Ravens, what will they be able to do? 1 Seeker missile, 2 Seeker missiles, 3, just focusing onto the infestors. They have been destroyed. 1 more Seeker missile may be enough. And yes, another Seeker missile. That infestor able to try to move away just in time. And now a very forward position. 4 Seeker missiles have been launched, each of them with 1 very important kill, as Ravens used in order to counter infestors. And Marines now pushing forward. In comes some Thors as well. And Ryung, I believe, will, yes, get the GG, as Liquid Sheth says GG, and Sheth loses to Ryung 3 games to nothing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.